In this lesson, I will show you how you can insert rows and columns or even single cells in a worksheet. Inserting a column does not mean that a new column letter will appear, and inserting a row does not mean that a new row number will appear. What happens is that when you insert columns, rows, or cells, Excel pushes, metaphorically speaking, the columns or rows or cells down or to the right, depending on what you want to do. But let's see this all in practice, starting with how you can insert a column. Notice that between columns F and J, June is missing. So I'd like to make some room to put in the data for June I forgot. To insert a new column, I will select the column to the right of the position where I want to insert the new column. I need to do that because the new column is always inserted to the left of the selected column. So since I want to insert a column before column G, I will select column G. If I select column F, then the new column will be inserted between April and May, and that's not what I want here. Now that I have selected the entire column G, I have two ways to do it. The first one is from the Home tab in the Cells palette. I will open the Insert tool and I could select Insert Sheet Columns. However, for now, I will not do that from here. I'm going to press Escape on the keyboard to close the Insert button. And I'm going to right-click here on the letter J on the column and I will select Insert from the menu that appears. This is what inserting a column is. Now it is considered that a new column was created on the left of the column that was selected. Remember that this is a standard process. The new column never goes to the right. It always goes to the left of the selected column. What actually happened was that the data in column G were moved to the right to column H. Columns F, G, and H still exist the way they were in terms of the names of the columns. What really happened was that all the data from column G were shifted to the right and the space left is what the new column is. So again, inserting a column does not mean that a new column letter will appear, but the data will be shifted to the right, so they will leave a column without any data, and that is a new column. The same process applies to insert new rows. I will select, for example, row 8. The new row is always inserted above the selected row, just like in columns, the new column is created to the left of the selected column. So by selecting selecting row 8, I can create a row above row 8. This is how it always works. You just need to remember that. From the Home tab in the Cells palette, I will press the Insert button. As you can see, in the menu that appears, the option Insert Sheet Rows is enabled and the option Insert Sheet Columns is disabled because I have selected a row. I will click on Insert Sheet Rows, and this is what inserting a row is. Just like with columns, what happened here was that all data from row 8 and down was moved one row down, and row 8 is left without any data, and this is considered as a new row. I will select line 13. I will right-click here on the number, and I will select Insert. Again, a row is created and is inserted directly above the selected row. So even if I select the first line, for example, I can right-click to insert a new row right above it. I can insert several rows or columns at the same time. I will select rows 6, 7, and 8 together, for example. And from the Cells palette, I will click Insert and then insert Sheet Rows. As you can see, 3 new rows have been inserted above the upmost row that was selected, that is above row 6. As a rule, remember that Excel inserts as many rows as the ones you have selected. Previously, I had selected 1 row and 1 was inserted. Now that I chose 3 rows, 3 were created. The same thing happens with the columns. I will select columns E, F, G, and H, and I will right-click on them, and I will click on Insert. As you can see, 4 columns were created to the left of the April column, which has now moved to column I. So the number of columns or rows that will be inserted is the same to the number of columns or rows I have selected. Let's see now how you can delete columns or rows. If I want to delete column E, for example, I will select it, and then I will go to the Home tab in the Cells palette, and I will click the arrow on the Delete tool to open it. Here I will select the Delete Sheet Columns option. This option was enabled because I had the column selected. This works in a similar way for the rows. I will select row 8, I will right-click on it, and I will select Delete. If I want to delete multiple columns or rows, I just need to select them and follow the same process. For example, I will select columns E, F, and G. I will press the Control key on my keyboard, and I will also select column J. I will right-click anywhere on the selected area, and I will click on Delete. As you can see, these columns have been deleted. In the same way, I will select rows 6 and 7, and again, with Control pressed, I will also select rows 1, 11, and 16. I will click on the arrow of the Delete tool on the ribbon, and I will choose the option Delete Sheet Rows. Let's see now how you can insert and delete cells, both individual cells and ranges of cells. I'm going to click over here in the cell A6. Now that I have only one cell selected, I will open the Insert tool, and first notice that the options to insert rows and columns are enabled. If I choose to insert a row, then a new row will be inserted above row 6 because the selected cell is in row 6. If I choose to insert a new column, the new column will be inserted to the left of column A because the selected cell is in column A. So I can insert or delete rows and columns based on the row and column of the selected cell, but that's not what I'm interested in right now. What I want is to insert cells. So I will click on the option Insert Cells, and as you can see, I can choose what I want to do, whether to shift the cells down or to the right. I will try both one after the other and see what happens. So for now, I will leave the Shift Cells Right option selected, and I will press OK. Notice that the cells to the right of A6 were pushed to the right, and the space left in cell A6 is considered a new cell. All the cells of line 6 were pushed to the right in this case. Let's now try to do the same in cell A6, but downwards this time. I will select cell A8 to be exact, not A6, A8 λοιπόν. Okay. I will click on Insert and insert cells. This time I will choose the option Shift Cells Down, and I will press OK. As you can see, in this case, the cells down to cell A8 have been pushed down to leave space for the new cell. To sum up, I can insert a new cell anywhere I want and push the rest of the cells to the right or down depending on what I want. Deleting cells works in the same way. With cell A8 selected, I will click on the arrow on the Delete tool, and then I will click on Delete the cells. Now I can choose how I want it to be done, how I want the cells to be shifted. This time I will choose Shift Cells Up, and I will press OK. Notice that the cells below A8 moved up to cover the space of the deleted cell. Now I'm going to select cell A6. I'm going to click again Delete and Delete Cells, and I'm going to use the Shift Cells Left option and press OK. As you can see, it pulled the cells that were to the right of A6 towards the left. You need to be careful with this process. Let's see what will happen if I do this in the wrong way. With cell A6 selected, I will press Insert and insert cells and add them to the right. Okay, so far now with cell A6 still selected, I will click on Delete and Delete Cells, and I will choose to shift cells up and press OK. Now, as you can see, I pulled the cells up and messed up the data I had over here, so be careful with that. I will click the Undo button twice so that I can restore the data as it was, and I will show you what insertion and deletion can be done, they can be done with even more cells. I will select the range of cells A4 to C11. I will click the Insert button and insert cells. With the cells, the Shift Cells Right option selected, I will click OK. As you can see, all the data left of the selected cells moved to the right, leaving a space equal to the cells that were selected. Notice that the column headers in line 1 didn't change, and the data in line 12 also didn't change, so space was created only for the area I had selected. The way is similar when I want to delete a range of cells with the same area selected. I will click on the delete button and delete cells. I will leave the shift cells left option selected and press OK. So by inserting or deleting ranges of cells, I can create space or delete a portion of the data. Someone could say that inserting cells, rows or columns is the same thing as moving the data to the desired direction. This is true. Inserting does exactly that. It just moves the data in the correct way. The reason you will use the insert feature is that it is easier when you have to move large portions of data like entire columns or rows or cell ranges. So the insert procedure is like cutting and pasting, but in an easier way. What you need to remember from this lesson is that when you want to insert or delete something, rows, columns, or a cell range, you first need to select whatever it is that you want to do, and then you can either right-click on the selected area to access the insert and delete options, or use the insert and delete buttons to do the same things. That's all for this lesson. Thank you for watching.